It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Elijah, Nima, Akashat, Zibiri. How are you today?
Fine, I'm fine. It was a busy week, and a very busy weekend. I moderated the Ansarudin Youth event over the weekend, and the learners seated alone was intimidating. My right was a very successful lawyer, Aziza Muse Sadiq, and I've been hearing her name on all the papers. Okay. She was behind the MTN shares, and she's never litigated, but she's always practiced law from a corporate end. She's with Banwan Aswe Igodalo's firm. She's a partner, and she was sitting with my right, and I was just looking at her and thinking, maybe I should cut my career a different way. And I also missed the distinguished professorship of Professor Amidou Alale Konsani, the chief of LASU and former VC Fountain University, on Thursday. Okay. Because I had to quickly run from my different work to do open day. I forgot my son's open day. It's usually crazy. And then this morning, I'm picking my dam up when I should have picked her on Friday because school said they wanted to do school on Monday. And then they said, Lagos State has issued midterm date, and now we are sorry for the inconvenience. Come and carry your children. She was just screaming on the phone yesterday, tell mommy, I'm tired of this place. Come and carry.
She wants to come home. The kids are always like that.
I'm a superwoman mother. I must have 10 hands.
All your parts.
Yes. So
Amaka Fresh, how you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, so last week was a very busy work week for me. So I welcomed the weekend with joy in my heart. Yes, so I had a busy Friday. Was after work was the Banjis dinner. Then Saturday I had 4 events, 2 weddings, 2 dinners. One was that of your husband's. And then the amazing thing was on Sunday, a friend of mine, CC Money, like she knew I needed to be refreshed from this whole thing. So she had booked a spa treat for me, right? So I thought it was like just a massage, like jump in, jump out. Then I'll rest for the whole Sunday just to get there. And I realized that she booked the whole works from sauna and steam bath to massage to facials to pedicure and to like a healthy lunch, late lunch and stuff at the apples and oranges. So Sissy Money, thank you so much.
Sissy Money.
That's what I call her. Sissy. She calls me Marcus Favor. I call her Sissy Money. So Sissy Money, thank you so much. I feel refreshed.
You look refreshed.
She got to work.
You need to go and find Sissy Money.
Sissy Money.
Sissy Money. Sissy Money, come and help us. How you doing, Obiajilu?
I'm doing amazing. So Saturday was my husband's birthday. I was a full event. We started from the praise worship. He's a church boy now. And he insisted that, you see, everything people are planning is not my business. See that praise, we're going to do it. So thank you to Morayo and the husband for showing up. And your husband Kuku likes praise. So it was a stage, and, participated. Family members were there. Just a few intimate people were there, and it was fun. Then Saturday evening, we had a dinner, and, all my friends that showed up, God bless you guys. We had fun. I'll be posting the video small. Then yesterday, I went for a premiere. Muri and Co. by Biodun Steven. Nice. It was amazing. So first of all, my PA wasn't around, so she went to write her examinations, and my son had to be the PA. So we dressed alike, I'll be posting some of those things, and we had fun. So I told them that this holiday they're going to have, they will be working for me. So if you work for me as a PA per day, because I'm going to be on set every day from today, I'm paying you 5,000 naira.
Nice,
so by the time we got back home, I paid. I said, I don't owe my workers. Collect your 5K. My little baby will be working with me today on set. So she's going to collect her 5K. Then my daughter the next day. This is how I'm going to, so that they make money this 2 weeks that I'm going to be at home.
Oh, fantastic. Well done. I love it.
Nice. How was your weekend?
Oh, I don't even know where to start. The fact, there's so much happening. Last week was amazing. I was really excited about the audience. I didn't miss you guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, man, I'm not even ready for your view, man.
Thank God you didn't tell her.
This is your view, ladies.
I didn't say.
She just
watched this. I wanted to say,
they'll just hold it.
Thank you.
I'm learning from you.
Didn't miss it.
We'll miss you next time when you travel.
I miss you guys. I miss you guys. I didn't miss the show. Like, sometimes every morning waking up, it's not easy to come and sing. But honestly, I enjoyed last week because, I worked with Tony Subera for many years, and I know how passionate it's been about audience measurement in our industry. And I was really excited that he was able to, all the work he has done in putting pressure on the former minister, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, and to the current minister, Malam Mohammed Idris, just to ensure that the audience measurement in our industry meets global standard, and it has. So going forward, very soon, Nigeria will join other countries in the world where we can actually measure who's watching what, like instantly, immediately.
Data,
so nobody can say, "Oh, this is the biggest show." No, you know
you
the
have
data.
Your data.
Data
Yes.
is key, and I'm really excited about. So that's going to be launching, and I'm really happy about that. And last weekend, partying every way. I enjoyed the husband's party. It was lovely food. The prawns were like this huge, and my brain did not tell me well. Pack it. No, my brain just said, finish it.
You couldn't move.
I couldn't move. I now saw others, but I packed mine. I'm like, I'm Rayo. God help you. But thank you so much. That's your husband.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, let's go on a short break. It's Monday. So much is happening in the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Experts, how Nigeria can gain from the new maritime territory. Tinubu rejigs Climate Change Council. Troops kill gunmen bandits in Abia, Kaduna. Nigeria's trade surplus hits 6.5 trillion. L'Oreal Paris announces Temi Altedola new ambassador for Africa. EFCC didn't brutalize arrested 127 Akure students. NDIC to expose chronic debtors following Heritage Bank liquidation. And Oando takes lead in the $925 million Afrexim Bank and NNPCL financing deal. Okay, who has the major headline?
Yes, I do. That's the newly approved 16,300 experts how Nigeria can get. Yes, that's it.
Okay, go ahead.
So experts are saying that the newly approved 16,300 square kilometers of maritime territory has immense potential for the economy. They highlighted opportunities for oil and gas exploration, improved maritime security, and job creation. The United Nations granted Nigeria about 16,300 square kilometers of additional maritime territory, about 5 times the size of Lagos State. Now, the extension of Nigeria's maritime boundaries aligns with the UN Convention on the Law of the Seas, UNCLOS, since 1982. Experts in different interviews are saying that that they are welcoming the development, that it's a good one. Another geographer and geographic information system specialist, Adi Demola, said the expansion provides significant strategy advantages for national defense, particularly for the Navy. He said the approval of the additional 16,000 square kilometers of maritime territory starts up a transformative era for Nigeria's blue economy. Another person, Mr. Adegboyega Oyetola, who's the Minister for New Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy that was created by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, said it represents also a gateway to numerous economic strategy and ecological operations. And so they are going to do as much as it takes to make sure that they monitor that place. The Navy is going to be highly in charge. It's going to also increase our oil exploration, and we'll be able to also follow up on our security and make sure that the waterways are really working for us. So this is good news for Nigeria. I wonder why it's the UN that is sharing territories, in the maritime industry. I thought when you have a country, you have what extends to you and what does
There's
not.
a meter you measure from your shoreline, I should tell you.
All right,
I have the FCC.
Go ahead.
So EFCC is responding to the 2 clubs who are accusing them online. So there's a story of 2 clubs, I won't mention names, online where they shared videos of how EFCC came into their club and hotels, raided and beat. They have pictures of the girls beating, and they said they called out an EFCC official who removed the wigs of the girls, and now they even went to the restaurants and ate. EFCC do their PR response in the nation. So they denied the use of force on the 127 students arrested in those 2 clubs in Akure in Ondo State. They insist no canister of tear gas or whips were deployed to inflict injuries on any of the students. They also confirmed the detention of the manager of the club. They said that the manager of the club who confessed to a crime has been taken in by them. They also directed the removal of the CCTV device. They said that this device was removed at their instance because they want to preserve the footage for further analysis. Now, they also said that they will be looking into those videos that we saw online of suspects being beaten and all of that for forensic analysis to establish falsehood or mischief. And they said that the profiling of the suspect has started and that those culpable will face trial. They made their clarification by the head of their media and publicity, Mr. Dele Oyewole, and he read out the misinformation, distortion of facts and all of that by an act in the Ibadan zone, and they said they are on it. Okay. I hope that those videos are truly not true. They looked very bad. I hope that I don't just
good for them.
All right, okay, go ahead.
No, finish.
The President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has rejected the National Council of on Climate Change. He has recently appointed Dr. Nkiruka Maduike, a renowned climate policy expert with over 15 years of experience, and she'll serve as the DG, currently interim DG of the National Council of Climate Change, and she's also going to be the co-chairperson of the Intergovernmental Committee on National Carbon Market Activation Plan. Really excited about this woman. She's with her 15 years experience. She's somebody that she holds a bachelor's degree, law degree, master's law in environmental law from the UK, a doctorate degree in law from the University of Hull, and also serving. And she'll be coming here to serve. I'm really excited about this because this is a woman that I don't know her, but I've heard about her work in the environmental space, and I think it's a well-deserved position given to her.
Okay, so I have the NDIC to name and shame Heritage Bank debtors. There were indications yesterday that the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, which liquidated Heritage Bank loan defaulters, will soon publicize their names. Also, the executives and board members found complicit in the bank's collapse are to be blacklisted by the NDIC. The decision said a source in the corporation would help enforce discipline and accountability in the financial sector of the Nigerian economy. NDIC said that the reason why they are coming up with this name and shame strategy, it was designed to curb delinquencies and encourage a more responsible borrowing culture by bank customers. The source also said that the name and shame policy is part of broader efforts to enhance accountability within the industry space. Decision to do that is a necessary step to ensure that borrowers understand the consequences of their actions and to prevent similar situations in the future where debtors, now cause the collapse of a bank. It says that last week, withdrawal of the Heritage Bank license by the Central Bank of Nigeria raised fresh concern about the stability of Nigeria's banking sector and conduct of its key players. Because, if this could happen to Heritage Bank in 2024, with all the financial policies in place, people are scared that this can happen to any other bank and any other bank. Yes, so they're trying to fix it.
All right, let's go on a short break now. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
This is 7 of 7. My name is OJ, and signing a sobriety into my hands tonight on the social experiment called the 7 of 7 is Owen G. What is the name, or what was the name? You see, I want to make them better now.
Rock Heart.
No, of the goats. When they brought it on stage.
The name of that goat?
Yeah.
We should go there.
No, that one easy now.
I'm just drinking this so that I can ask him my own questions. It's not because of
Buga.
He didn't get it. You know, you know. Okay. Mention 10 female stand-up comedians in Nigeria. See, just mention their stage name. If you annoy me, you will mention their real names and the year they started. And if you annoy me further, you mention the names of their husbands and the names of their children. Try me now. Okay, mention their name.
No, let's just.
No, wait. No, don't. No. Name, real name, stage name, husband name, children name. 10 of them.
Even the 10. That's a lot.
Eh?
That's a lot.
Did I cut your question for you?
Yes.
When you were happy now. Buga with your hunchback.
That was it.
Buga. You are wasting time. We don't have time. See, my brother, before we go on a commercial break, you are stubborn. And I told you since. The fact that you play this your hair does not mean. You understand? See this bad hair you are looking at. It's experience. I've suffered before you.
By China.
When you there during the military era of Abacha and Babangida, you know what happened?
I be Gen Z.
So that
By
Gen
China,
Z,
I call for
I will remove 4 out of 10.
That's like
4 out of 10 they pass exam. Don't drink this thing. Where baby you are on here? Drink out. If I land you.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon. I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Barkamu da warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brown, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of Your View are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to move on now to the punch. Fuel foods lead as imports hit 12 trillion naira. States work on total electricity subsidy removal and new tariff. Minimum wage talks end today. Labour awaits Tinubu's nod. Marketers register with Dangote refinery ahead of loading. Reps to meet governors as Borno opposes state police. Vandalism. FG tightens security on third mainland bridge. EU raises Schengen visa fee to 90 euros. Local refining may crash petrol price to 300 naira per litre, says modular refineries. Police students, 25 others abducted on Abuja Nasarawa Highway. And Democracy Day FG to hold parade youth summit leader. Okay?
Yes, so operators of modular refineries said yesterday that the price of the premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, should drop to 300 naira per litre once there's massive production by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and other indigenous producers as well. So they said that this will be achieved only when government ensures the provision of adequate crude oil to the local refiners, saying that the refineries abroad were ripping off Nigeria. Now, speaking under the aegis of the Crude Oil Refinery Owners Association of Nigeria, they said that what happened to the cost of diesel, we know what happened to the cost of diesel immediately after Dangote started producing it, was that it started going down. Yeah. Yes, and they said they are expecting this to also happen to fuel once the federal government is able to supply Dangote and the other refineries crude oil. It says a lot of companies today benefit from the importation of petroleum products at the expense of Nigerians. This was according to the Publicity Secretary of Koran. And he said if we begin to produce PMS today in large volumes, provided there's adequate crude oil supply, I can assure you we'll be buying it even lower than 300 naira per litre. And it says, why make Nigerians buy it almost at 700 naira per litre when you know that if you allow refineries to work, the price will come down? Is it because we want to satisfy the global refiners abroad that are making so much from us? So this is something that they are expecting that the federal government will insist on, so that we are able to crash the price of the pump price of the fuel.
All right, let me talk about the Schengen visa. Excuse me. More expenses await African nationals seeking visas to the EU. European Union they plan to increase their Schengen visas from 80 euros to 90 euros. The report that was given was over the weekend. The report also stated that the EU has earned 3.4 million euros from rejected Schengen visa applications submitted by Nigerians alone. According to the data, in 2023, African nationals received 704,000 negative responses for their visa requests. This means that they got the EU earned $56.3 million visa application fee, and those visas obviously went up in smoke because they were rejected. The report noted that high number of rejected visa applications had caused African nationals to spend millions every year with fees known as reverse remittances, benefiting to the EU countries. Really, really, when you look at those figures, when you combine those figures together, you realize how our country alone, 3.4 million euros.
On this journey,
why don't they refund you when you don't get it? That was how they used to do it in my mother's time.
Yeah, back in
that's back in the day. Well, I have this.
You can change that.
Okay, so I have the minimum wage news. The new minimum wage talks between the federal government and organized labor are expected to end today, being Monday, as the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress leaders await President Bola Tinubu's decision on their 250,000 naira offer. The Labour leaders had given a Monday deadline for the conclusion of the talks, and last Friday, the Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage concluded these meetings where the federal government and the organized private sector agreed on 62,000 naira, while the Labour demanded 250,000 naira. However, the Nigerian Governors Forum in a statement said the minimum wage higher than 60,000 naira would not be sustainable. The Labour leaders, who did not want to be quoted for security reasons, said the NLC President Joe Ajaero and other top union officials had left the country to participate in a labour conference organized by the International Labour Organization in Geneva. But if the talks are ending today and they've traveled, who is there actually doing the negotiations that they said is so important that they cannot leave their trip to go on for? But anyways, they said that no conversation or no meeting can be held until they come back from that trip.
Oh, wow.
You see, let me not even go into
we have misplaced priority in this country.
No, that international conferences, the most important thing to this labor people.
Yeah, so
that's where they get all their unction from, because all those international bodies, they have a way that they pump them up and make them feel of how you can actually get certain demands done.
Yeah.
So I have the third mainland story. So the Federal Ministry of Works, the Federal Controller of Works, Lagos, Engineer Olukorede Kesha, following the arrest of an individual who had removed 10 lights of the newly renovated Third Mainland Bridge, said that they are going to beef up security on the bridge. That the operatives of the Rapid Response Squad of the Lagos Police Command the Police Command Lagos had on Friday arrested this young man, and so they will be parading. There will be more patrols of police vans on the truck, more than usual. And so she has also written to the Commissioner of Police to ensure that the surveillance on the Third Mainland Bridge continues, and they should have stationed police trucks on the bridge. And so that will be done. She also regretted that not only the Third Mainland bridge that is suffering this, most of federal roads and works around the country.
Second Niger Bridge too, I saw the videos.
The Kara Bridge, they had the wires to the street light newly added, removed. So you just have street light hanging, no power, because they have removed everything. So she's also pleading on the Commissioner of Police of Lagos to ensure that there's patrol of that end as well. And that,
it's just so sad.
It keeps sabotaging
I don't understand. These are the same Nigerians that you expect to do vote rights. They will know what to do. They're all thieves. These people. It's so painful.
They are going to spend money now to redo the wiring. Before they can energize the street lights.
Money that should have gone to something else.
Replace those cat eye those lights on the ground.
Now say that government is not doing something.
Everything that makes it beautiful and modern.
It's two ways
to take.
Just like the one that Niger Bridge one.
Yes, second Niger Bridge.
Heavy those things.
Now they're lifting
they were lifting them.
When I was in literature, they used to beat thieves on Western Avenue Road all the way to the area E police station, area C police station at Ojoelegba. Once you see anybody with those lights in their bag, naked out, beat them all the way. Let them do only. That's because
what Nigerians need. Yes. That's the level we are in. That's the level we should be.
Civilized.
Walk around
those of us are speaking this English. We are very like 0.0%.
If we see the light in your bag, pity.
Let us move on. Let us move on.
Same treatment.
Who has the NDLA story? Nobody has that. So I have this. Let me take that story. Another shipment of 175,000 bottles of codeine-based syrup from India was intercepted by operatives of the NDLA at Port Harcourt Ports Complex in One River State. Last Friday, barely a week after the Anti-Narcotics Agency seized the same quantity of opioid at the same port. Femi Ababa was speaking. That's the director of media advocacy. He made the disclosure, said that 2 seizures followed earlier intelligence, which made the agency request that the shipment be stepped down for 100% examination. I mean, within the port, 1 week was codeine, the other one was opioids. Same quantity, 175,000.
It's the guts with which these people carry these things, and you know that the machines will check.
No, but then there's something going on in the system there. Trust me, there's something going on in the system. It's an organized crime.
Moving on, we have a story in port. Let's move on to Vanguard.
Have we read
the Sun? We have stories.
The Sun I just finished.
That's what they do. When you come
That's what I just see.
you want to speed out.
Daily Sun.
because I've been waiting.
Minimum wage, labor advance on 250,000 naira. Constitutional review, reps more creation of new states. CBN retrenchment. Northern group threatens to shut down Nigeria over unjust exercise. IPOB disowns alleged referendum plan in Southeast. Tinubu appoints the 9-year-old Maduike DG National Council on Climate Change. And Nigeria's trade surplus rises to 6.52 trillion in Q1, says NBS. Okay.
Yes, so there are strong indications that the House of Reps would consider proposal for the creation of new states as part of the ongoing review of the 1999 Constitution as amended. I think we took this story last week as well. So members of the House and some interest groups are presenting about 14 proposals from different parts of the country to the Green Chamber. There are currently 36 states in the country, like we all know, distributed, but they said it's uneven among the 6 geopolitical zones. We have the South-South, the Southwest, the North-Central, as well as the Northeast, and those have 6 states each. Northwest has 7 states, while the Southeast has 4 states. So the proposal for new states include a bill for the creation of Olo states, which is sponsored by a member representing Idiato North and South Federal Constitution of Imo, Iko, Guano, Ugochinyere, and 15 others. Now, according to the bill, the proposed Olo states, which will be carved out of the present Imo, Abia, and Anambra states, will have its capital in Olo. Similarly, the member representing Oboku, Uriade Federal Constituency of Osun State, Wole Oke, also has a bill for creation of 3 new states from Ogun, Oyo, and Osun states. The proposed states are Oke Ogun, Ijebu, and Ife Ijesa, with Isheyin, Ijebu-Ode, and Ile-Ife as capitals, respectively. They said the bill has scaled first reading. It's also proposing for the reduction of local government areas in Ogun, Oyo, and Osun states. I just want them to have a proper conversation so they understand the need, why they need to create this state. Is it because they want every community to have more like a representation and be able to communicate directly to their local government to get things done, or they just want to create this state for creating sake? They need to just make it plain.
I can even understand the Ijebu one. I think the land mass is wide enough. Yeah. You see the other ones. I'm going to have to study the map again to see.
They will find their way.
I have the CBN Northern Youth Protest the retrenchment. So the Conference of Autonomous Ethnic Community Development Association Youth Wing threatens to shut down the country over what they call staff retrenchment exercise carried out by the CBN. And he said that it was deliberately, targeting indigenes of the North Central geopolitical zone. And the coordinator of that youth wing, Paul Dekete, said, it was a deliberate attempt, and he's calling on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to look into it before it becomes too late. He said it was a deliberate attempt to sabotage the administration of the president. He said, according to statistics, the people within the Middle Belt and North Central geopolitical zone, as well as the Southeastern region, remain the most targeted without any reason of such action. He said one of such was, in Plateau, 80% of the staff in the executive cadre were sacked, and including one person who had just 3 days to her retirement, and all arrangements had been made and concluded. She was removed like that, and all of them are insisting. He has breakdown of Borno, Plateau, and all other states in the North Central that was affected, insisting that they were picked on.
That is all we can take on front page review this morning. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great...
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regular.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 20 was 320. I suppose don't be one
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, number one, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number one on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym, though. You're getting fat.
Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference?
There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer,
you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No.
Sex can.
Thanks for staying with us. So our hot topic today, over the weekend, Senator Adamu Alero, a northern senator from Kebbi State, proposed a bill for cows to be considered and recognized as citizens of Nigeria. Therefore, granted freedom of movement and association. This has sparked outrage and questioning the senator's priorities and competency. However, the president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, immediately replied him saying that cows are not citizens of Nigeria. What are your own thoughts? Although eventually we found out that the bill, according to the Senate report, saying that many of them shut down the bill, and but it's still being discussed on the plenary, and we'll see how that goes. What are your thoughts on this? It's a conversation because we know all over the world there are advocacies for the animal rights and people believe that some animals do have rights. So in some countries, dogs are very, the domesticated animals who are considered animals to be protected. You know, we have animals like cats and all sorts who, you know, the rights are, they have laws protecting animal activism to ensure that they are protected. However, one of our senators is considering the same possible recognition, or maybe not as much as that, but recognition of cows in our country, considering the economic impact that they provide, considering the sentimental connection some tribes have with this animal. What are your thoughts? You can call us on 081 0764 1679 0902 163 You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTV. See so we can read the tweet. All right, I know on the face value people say, what do you mean by this? But if you look at it critically, you know, understanding the respect and regard certain ethnic groups have to certain animals, do you think this is a totally unnecessary request on the part of the senator, or do you think it's something that could be possibly considered?
Okay, so I think, can I go first?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Okay, so I like the way the Senate President, Babi, just came out straight and told him, cows are not citizens of Nigeria. So let me respond to him too. Cows are not citizens of Nigeria. They will never be. Because even in foreign countries, America and everything, where you have dogs and cows, that they have rights, right? You know, they should be protected and stuff. But they are not considered citizens of America. Very soon now, this man will come and say they should not give them international passport. This minimum wage now that we are trying to debate, they will now say that cows should come and collect minimum wage. I don't understand what is going on in this country. Please, an animal cannot, never has been, never will be a citizen of a country. It's different that he's proposing a bill that has to do with protection of the animals and the cows and free movement, you know, in certain areas, especially with what is going on in the East with the cows, and how with the issue of the herdsmen, you know, fighting people, destroying their crops and farms, and maybe he's trying to create a bill or submit a bill, a proposal on how, you know, they can create a balance of how this should be done. But then to say citizen of Nigeria, well, you guys already know my thoughts on this.
It's okay. That's all right. It's like our lawmaker does not know where we are coming from. And so he will allow only his sentiments, advices, judgment, or his suggestions on the floor, his motions on the floor of the House. You know, it's very sad, very heartbreaking. If cows were made citizens of Nigeria, I wonder how their biodata will be captured. They go stomp the machine. Or, you know, me too. My ancestors were farmers. We tilled the soil. Maybe our groundnut should be considered a citizen of the country based on our sentiments, because I am a daughter of the soil. I still know that it's in Mauriki that we farm. So maybe me too. My groundnut go do bad.
Let me help you put this in proper perspective. Maybe you can help, because I was trying to do some research on this, and there's a book called Zoopolis, A Political Theory on Animal Rights, written by Donaldson and Will Kimlicka. And both of them were saying that, listen, animal rights theory, they were talking about the classical model of an animal rights theory. It's not so much about voting, getting minimum wage, or having rights to whatever. It's more, I know you're being sarcastic, but it's also too for us to put this in perspective. What they are saying is that only one acceptable relationship to animals, treating them ethically, means leaving them alone, not interfering with their negative rights to life and liberty, to their rights to life and liberty. It says that also not to interfere with them or use them as to be. I'm trying to find. I lost the. To be used as experiments. You know, so it's more. So it's not so much as about these citizens. Maybe the senator did not mean to say citizen. What he meant is that let us give these cows rights such that they have the freedom of movement. They are not. They can't be captured. They can't be.
So there's a reason why
they have some kind of regard.
A joke out of what he said.
Yeah.
And the reason is simply because he's coming from a totally sentimental and commercial point of view. And to everybody's investment, the rights. So that's why I say it doesn't know where we are coming from. If you give rights to the herders, what of the farmers whose livestock, whose constant investment are at risk of the freedom of a herder?
Exactly.
That's why we got here in the first place. And that's why we decided to have reserves. In fact, somebody built, the former governor of Kano State, even though not a farm, built a reserve for them. Spent millions establishing a reserve, and he said everybody should freely come and establish, their cattle here. Exactly. In that reserve, you don't have to pay for space anymore. It was an organized setting. We were coming from somewhere. The entire 8 years of President Buhari's administration was on this, and then somebody is taking us totally back to grant freedom. I own a ranch. I have 6 cows now. They are selling this, but I pay for space. And I keep them there.
Okay, let me take.
So,
I'll come to you, BC, 1 second. Let us, those who have no idea what we're talking about, let us
see the video.
I'm talking about constitutional point of order, not our constitutional point of order. Okay. Constitutional point of order 41. With your permission, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I read Section 41. Every citizen of Nigeria is entitled to move freely throughout Nigeria and to reside in any part thereof. And no citizen of Nigeria shall be expelled from Nigeria or refuse entry thereto or exit therefrom. Subsection 2. Nothing in subsection 1 of this section shall invalidate in any law that is reasonably justifiable in a democratic society. A2A, imposing restrictions on residence or movement of any person who has committed or is reasonably suspected to have committed a criminal offense in order to prevent him from leaving Nigeria, or providing for the removal of any person from Nigeria to any other country. Mr. President, I raise this point of order simply because of what Senator Zam has stated in the bill, which is contrary to the provisions of Section 41 of this Constitution. He says the bill proposes that ranches be established in pastoralist states, state of origin, without forcing it upon other states or communities that do not have pastoralist citizens. Mr. President,
okay, so we couldn't finish the clip, but I'd like to hear the last part of it. But what you're trying to say is understand that, yes, the rights here, he stated the rights of a Nigerian citizen. He now talked about the restrictions of the ranches. And maybe the next thing he was about to say was how to ensure that the cows, therefore, are allowed to move freely because they should be considered as citizens. We're going to go on a very short break. When we come back, I'll let PC have the floor. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger, take it. Today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
Ha. I'm not here to answer questions. I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born in 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ fẹlá. Ọmọ Aníkúlá Pókùtì. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by Audison. It's not by Audison.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing Senator Adamu's conversation in the plenary when he was comparing the Nigerian citizen to the cows and the fact that the Senate President himself said that cows are not citizens. You see, you're going to add something to what he was saying.
Yes, so that comparison was not it for me. I didn't find it funny. I didn't find it funny because I feel like we are oblivious of the problems of the country and we are majoring on the minor. If you look through the debates that we have in the houses, we always see that the real issues that we should be deliberating on to make Nigerians better, make Nigerians happy, make Nigerians have a semblance of life is usually ignored to things that we can sort out with having just policies on rights. If you're talking about animals and how probably you don't want how they kill the animals or how animals are not allowed to move around freely, especially the cows, it should be in their rights. You should be talking about their animal rights. You should be enforcing animal rights. Even in countries where they revere these animals, a country like India where they worship these animals, I've never heard a conversation where the animals become citizens of the country in order to move around freely. We need to be very careful about these things. Some of these are lawmakers, they travel everywhere and they see how things are done in other places. Number two, animals, especially the cows that I know in Nigeria, already move around freely. Nobody stops them from moving. The only problem we have is the fact that they trespass into people's farms, eat up their crops, and people are saying we cannot labor, invest to have our farms and our crops, and then these cows come in and eat it. Keep them somewhere. You travel around, you see how ranches are organized all over the world so that we can even have healthier cows to eat. Sometimes some of these cows get mad, we don't know, we buy them, we eat them. A lot of us are behaving like people at home. It's from these things. When you have a proper ranch across the nation where animals are vetted, they have their treatment, they are well taken care of, they eat the right food and everything, you know that what is coming to your plate at the end of the day is healthy. That's where the world is moving to. We cannot keep behaving like we are from the time of Adam, carrying animals up and down. We need to have a system that allows every business that we do in the country evolve and grow to the needs of the current state. Exactly. That's what we should be talking about. So saying that animals are not moving around freely and then you're comparing it with the rights of citizens is just a slap on our faces. As we are Nigerians here, we need to just be very, very careful. Emphasize on animal rights, whether it's the cows you want to emphasize on. Now, if you make the cows have as much rights or make them citizens, are we still allowed to eat these citizens, or we are no longer going to be eating cows in this country? We need to just make it clear. Let's focus on animal rights. Enforce that. Remove citizenship talk and the right of moving free. You cannot move because where your rights end is where my own rights starts. You cannot move into my farm, eat up my crops, and say because they are animals and they have a right, they can move around freely. They do not have the cognitive abilities like human beings who can decipher. So they need a guide who will take them around and take them through the right path so that they don't infringe on other people's rights. Other human beings in Nigeria have rights.
Okay, let me take this call. I'll come to you, Nima. Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm calling from Abuja.
You're welcome. Go ahead, sir.
I listened to the conversation and we, the people of Nigeria, on behalf of them, we totally reject what the person said. Because very soon now, they will now propose a bill that the cows will have right to come and vote. You understand? When the election comes out, they say the citizens, the cows come and line up for so and so person. And the total amount of cows is 100,000, and the person will now get 100,000 votes as a result of the cows. We reject it. It will not stand. Thank you very much.
Okay, so looking at the issue of insecurity in the north, you realize that the issue of herdsmen, farmer clashes, these are long-standing issues that have gone from generation to generation.
Yeah.
And some of the solutions being preferred is also, aside from the issue of providing ranches for this cattle, is also the recognition of who they are, what they are to various tribes, groups, and ethnicities. So to you, a cow is just a cow. But somebody else, a cow is a precious animal that should be regarded. Now, as I said, it's possible that maybe the citizenship talk is a bit too heavy. Maybe it's not citizenship we're looking for. Maybe it's more of the freedom of the recognition of that animal as a cherished member of society, a society that should be protected, that should be refrained from, that should be protected from cruelty by humans. You know, there's so many things. So is it possible that we could consider a situation where these cows are not just treated as animals to be slaughtered, but animals to be respected and regarded and respected? And I know we have existing laws.
The conversation, we don't even have animal liability in Nigeria. I don't think it's coded. We don't have statutes. It's just basically law of torts. So the discretion of the judge over time with all the tortious principles established in England is what will still apply. But in Nigeria, this entire talk about around cows is not for animal rights. Is this? If you talk about torture, they kill them, chop them, and that's the end of every cow. Even though Senator himself is talking about it, we breed our cows for slaughter. Simple. So there's no rights here. We are talking about the commercial investment, commercial conversation here. Somebody is talking about his own investment. The reason why you have, people opposing this conversation, opposing every time this conversation comes up, is because there are no proper establishment for animal liability. If a cow goes into my farm and destroys all my groundnuts and yam, there's animal liability. I should be able to get the proceeds or projected profits that I looked at when I put every seedling on ground from the owner of the cow. The only reason we're having this conversation is because who am I, ordinary farmer like me, to dare ask for the proceeds of my farm when a cow comes in and feeds off my plants? That's the problem we have here. And anytime we have this conversation from that one side of a cow's rights or the cow owner's rights, it's always going to get an opposition. Like I said here, I have a few cows myself. I cannot come and pretend I don't know. But I will not sit down and my cow goes into somebody's compound, destroys something or affects somebody, and I will not have the conversation from an animal liability point. Because I'm too fair to not have that understanding. It's not sorry, no vessel. It's not, it's the same thing that, when your dog runs into the street and decide to feed on my chicken, we go discuss the profit.
Who they pay?
Who go pay? In my own place in Ojo where I used to school, if you run into somebody's egufe, you better be looking for Mama Egufe. Because even your spirituality, they will come after you. So we need to have this conversation from an holistic point of view where everybody's rights is brought in. Once we have it like that, nobody will be opposing anything. It is because we are afraid, we have empowered some herdsmen even carry guns that we got here. So we should always remember where we are coming from. When we're looking at solutions, we should take into cognizance the history of how we got here. It will help us move forward. Farmers' clash has been a disguise for too many crimes in the past. To rest it is to have elders keep their heads one place and be able to account for 1 to 10 of them, if 100 of them.
Let me take this call. I'll come to you, Amaka. Good morning. Thanks for calling. Oh, I'm sorry, I lost that.
Okay, so like how we just keep hammering on herdsmen and then the farmers, right? We're not even looking at how dangerous it is to have this cows moving around. If you're driving your car and then a cow runs into the road and then there's an accident, this has happened so many times. Who takes responsibility for that? For the dead person or for the injured party? Instead, they beg you or they disappear with the cows. What happens? Who takes responsibility? Like you said, there should be animal liability, right? Then, secondly, I want to ask this question. Please, in the abroad, in America, in Canada, everywhere that they have cows, please, do they move from one state to the other? Are they herdsmen that move them from one place? I'm sure there's a way they still transport them from one region to the other, right?
Yes.
No, but people's past and history comes in. Cowboy is not a Edao.
No, but we're evolving. We're evolving. This is 2020.
No, we evolve at our pace and at our own culture. So we've always had our people head their cows. Pastorally.
Let me take this call. Good morning. Thanks for calling Alaji Hamzat. You're live.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I'm a first-time caller anyway.
Welcome to the show.
I'm glad that at least I got through today. So very seriously, I love what Nima just said. Because if there's a liability on anybody whose animal or property, affects another property or another person's right, then I'm sure all this we're talking, we will not be wasting time in there talking them. If, like what my other sister just said, even if any animal strays onto the main road and damages any car or whatever, so the person knows that this is so liability to repair the car and do all that. They will ensure that they don't go astray. They maintain their lane, and I think we should look more into the area of establishing the liability, attached to such destruction and all of that before we start talking about giving them freedom of movement and all of that as if they are human. I mean, seriously speaking, I want to question the competence of people who make laws for us. What kind of laws are they? How reasonable are they? I mean, sorry, this is not even supposed to. Is it because of their personal interest in the whole thing, or how they are affected, how or the kind of investments they have got, they are putting into this, that they are just being selfish and wanting to get us all into this whole.
Thank you, Alhaji Hamzat. You see, one of the things I love about Nigeria is our diversity. And I think that if Nigeria is able to adequately understand the beauty of our diversity, understand each other, and find some kind of cohesion in how we do things, we will be probably the greatest nation on earth. Because many nations are grappling and fighting. They don't have the kind of resources that we have. They don't have the kind of diversity that we have, that we enjoy. One of the things that I like to take from this conversation is understanding where the man is coming from. It's very, for me, it's very, very crucial for us to be very clear. Now, he's not here, so I don't have access to him to say, okay, what exactly do you mean? Because there's an intention behind a proposition. There's a reason why somebody who say, listen, these cows deserve some kind of freedom. Now, how you see it is different from him. So it would be good to hear if you understand it, but is there any way we can reason to see how important it is for this senator to even propose to see the
we need to understand what he means by the freedom. Because as far as we are concerned on the other side of the divide, the cows have freedom already. Growing up in secondary school like this, cows will just enter the compound. Everybody is running helter-skelter. You will just be driving along the road, cars will have to park and wait for the cows to pass. They have always had freedom. But how realistic is this type of freedom in modern day times? Back in the day when we were growing up, we didn't have a lot of infrastructure. There were a lot of vast land where these cows can graze and move around. Now, if you look around, we have more infrastructures, we have more schools, we have more businesses. We cannot afford to have cows just move like that. And they're saying that even in other climes where people are beginning to develop, gradually, because I know that if you check the history of the ranchers in a place like Texas and all of that, they had a time where they were moving around. But they grew to a state where they understood the times that they were in, and they decided, what's the best way for us to be able to raise these cows and make the best out of it, make ourselves rich as businessmen, and also grow the economy as well. And they decided on ranching. There is nothing stopping Nigerians from ranching their cows. Nothing. If you say, okay, there's a time for holiday, we can give one day in a month or one day in a year where cows, everybody stays inside though. Cows are doing their holiday today. They are moving around and all of that. You stay, you lock up your doors, lock up your businesses, and you stay inside. But the reason why we got to where we got to, and she highlighted it, I just want to buttress it a bit, was the fact that criminality was now infused into the cows, into heading the cows. And so people carry, when I was growing up, we didn't see headers with AK-47. We only saw them with their canes, with the cows. Now they carry guns, and then they eat up your farm and shoot you in the process. And nobody's talking about it.
All right, let's go on a short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation.
Sorry, my darling.
Stay with us. Right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
show starts in 3, 2, and...
We're here again on your screens this beautiful morning doing what we do best.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in. It's still 7 of 7, and we've been doing a whole lot of protesting. The only thing that remains is just to carry placard.
It's about 5 of 7, to be honest. Because, ask your question. I have so much to speak about once we finish.
We'll not give you the time because it's 7 of 7.
I will make the time now. He said he will not ask questions about science.
No.
Neuroplasticity.
And based on
he asked a question that was subjective about high life, and he did not finalize his answer.
Staying with us. All right, we're still discussing this issue. As I say, it's not yet a law. It's been discussed. I was trying to even find out if we had moved to the second reading. I doubt it. But I know that the Senate President has shut it down immediately. So we're not saying that Senator Adamu's is proposing or is a bill that is being considered.
The
fact that he even stood up to think it or to do that correlation is all we're having the conversation on. So, but yeah, Amaka, let me let you jump in here.
So I want to continue from what she said. So is he saying that, you know how we Nigerians, when we start something, then we not overdo it. We are an overdue country. So if they say that they want to give freedom of movement to cows, when you come to the east, at least I know there are some places that you cannot touch. If you see python or snake, you're not allowed to kill them.
Even in
yes, your custom. I know in Igbo land there are certain things that are animals or stuff that you're not supposed to touch.
Yeah.
Everybody will start pushing for
freedom. Imagine freedom of python.
Is that the bone of contention right now in Nigeria with our economic situation? Is that what we want to be?
Insecurity in the north is a huge part of the
There's insecurity in the east, don't you know, the southeast?
So I totally agree with you, but the issue of herder-farmer clashes has been a generational problem. So for him saying this, that's why I say let's try to dig deeper to find out exactly where he's coming from. On the surface value, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, nobody will agree for cows to have rights. But again, I keep trying to go back to the fact that it might not be citizenship he meant to compare cows to us for.
Oh, he read citizenship something.
What he was probably trying, sometimes I always say this, guys, sometimes English. What we are thinking is even for how we say it. Because we don't have the word to describe exactly what we're trying to say. So it's possible he's just trying to push for proper recognition and protection for cows across the country. So there are different ways. Maybe we don't have laws right now to protect this animal. So I'm trying to see his perspective. As I say, he's not here. We don't know exactly where he's coming from, but I really don't want to believe it's pure citizenship as you are.
Cows that we chop or we will not chop at the end of the day.
Arguments with the section of the
Constitution that talked about citizenship.
And he read it.
He read it
fully. So I don't know why you're trying to make excuses for him. It is clear on the face of it.
Let me take this call from Toby. Toby, thanks for calling. Hello, Toby, you're live. So, all right, what I was trying to say, citizenship is a legal status applied to human beings. So I seriously doubt a cow can have that status.
No, but the audacity to make the comparison, the senator read all the rights a human being would have as regards citizenship, and then went on to say that, to compare and suggest that such should be given to cow. But I know he was shut down. The Senate president didn't allow him to proceed. But, we have a culture known to Africans that is different from ranching system known to them in Texas.
Yeah.
Whenever a law is made that doesn't take into cognizance the history, culture, practice, and way of life of a people, it's always going to be counterproductive. Always check out the history of our laws that we've had. We say the bigamy law. How many bigamy? The women will later do like this. Will I give up? Because bigamy is strange to us. A lot of laws like that will just copy book for book and bring here will be counterproductive. But we know that the bone of contention here is the inability to call out a a herder and his cow for destruction or any problem that they might cause. And it's impossible to herd your cow on a pastoral nomadic style and not be paying people for whatever they might destroy. We had last administration, we had all the farms in Mondo where cows were going into people's farms. Even the former presidential candidate against MKO, I'm trying to remember his first name, sorry, against President Obasanjo in 1999, had his farm, raised down by cows. And he came on the news and he was made to look helpless. Ordinarily, each herder must carry a cow tag, the way if you want to talk about how ranching is done. Yeah. So there's a whatever they put with hot high on cows, a tag, where a cow is known for with the name of his farm and the name of the owner. So you just write them a letter.
Insure each cow. Each cows are insured. Anytime
it's an investment. It's like your car. You should insure your own. If me to have fowl in my house, my farm, and I know my fowl and he fly fence and he don't come back, I should be able to write to the neighbor, my fowl will fly. What happens to it? Because this, if we're talking these rights, everybody has rights and it's equal. It should be equal. Yeah. Every time a herder's conversation comes up and it's coming from that one-sided point of view, I personally would disagree, even though I might want to understand how they are wired. Because you see, the healthy cows are those that are headed, what's the word? That graze, that go and come, that walk. Not the ones that are stationed in a ranch. The healthy and they are and all of that. They look robust, but you see the Oyibo health compared. So we are looking for organic means. Anyways, we have to but we must make it legitimate for another person's right to, I
have Joseph and I come to you. Joseph from Sapele. You're live.
Hello?
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Joseph. I'm calling from Sapele.
Yes, go ahead.
So what I'm saying is that I don't know why people bring cows as a senator. They are talking human beings. You are talking about animal, that animals should have rights. In those days when we are a kid, there is a council people arresting goats, dog in town. So those cows that come into people's farm to eat people's food, then you are telling me that they should allow a cow should have the people that train pig, people that train goats, people that train fowls, everybody will allow their own outside. So that man there is not somebody to go and represent person. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Yeah. Yes, PC.
So, the end goal of every cow is for food, is to be eaten. If you talk about dogs, we know dogs are for companionship. Cats are for companionship. And so if you're saying dogs and cats should have some certain rights because you know that you are not rearing a cat to kill. I've never seen cats stew. Kill the cats to eat. But the end goal of a cow, and that's also because of the biology of the cow is too huge to even become a pet. So you're not bringing a cow or raising a cow so that people will buy the cow and keep in their houses for protection or for friendship and all that. The end goal of every cow is to chop, to be chopped. That's one. Now we live together. We are all Nigerians, and no Nigeria is more Nigerian than any other Nigerian. None. Meaning that in every decision that we take, we must take into cognizance the fact that we are not alone in this universe. We have other people who we are going to consider. So if I decide to go into farming now and I have cows, I release my cows and they go into Mariah's compound and decides to maybe one mistakenly falls on one child or the other one damages one side of the property. And I say, I know my cows should have right. We are living together. And that means no matter your history, you must pay attention to your neighbors who are around you because your actions will have consequences on the people around you. We must pay attention to that. So I would like that the House will look at this matter critically. And please, it's not a matter we should be deliberating at this time. It doesn't make sense to every other person aside from the people selling the cows, because now they are coming from their own lens and their perspective on how allow my cows to just move around freely, they have rights to, their animals to, blah, 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 blah. They should be talking more about you don't just butcher these cows anyhow. I have been to the abattoir before and I've seen how these people kill cows, and I felt so bad that day. It was really deep in my spirit. And I was asking myself, is there any way they can invent better ways of killing these cows so that they rest? Those are some of the conversations we should be having. Not that you should allow the cows move freely because they have rights to as citizens of Nigeria.
I think we can but sorry, I wanted to make something because I totally agree with, like, from this angle where she came from in terms of, because I heard that, like, the trauma animal goes through when depending on how the technique, how you kill them, it transfers to the meat and then transfers to we that the end users that are taking it in. You're laughing, but it's actually true. It's a real thing. So yes, so I think that's what we should be deliberating on how animals should be killed
respectively.
Yeah, for we the end users to take, because with all this cancer and everything going on, let's know the one that is doing something.
My laughing doesn't communicate the dissent. I'm just I'm listening to you and I'm appreciating what you're saying.
So we have tweets.
Okay, let's take a few clips.
Sir Chokus was said, even Mora is having a hard time arguing in Senate. Just shows how ridiculous it is. But let's even grant it. How then does freedom of movement prefer any solution to the problem on ground? Just lazy thinking. Me says Nigerian lawmakers want to make a law that allows citizens to eat their fellow citizens. That is how it sounds, which is even more ridiculous.
All right, we need to wrap up on this. I think that's all we can take on this segment. But I think I'm happy that the Senate President shut it down almost immediately. Yeah. It wasn't even something that is worth discussing in the House. And the conversation was just the fact that he even made that comparison is why we're having this conversation. But in a nutshell, really and truly, animals shouldn't have rights. Although some have tried to argue it in other plans. I said I saw the book on some writers trying to see how they can justify the animal rights theory to show that animals do deserve some kind of protection, which nobody disagrees with. But it's just that giving them the political or the constitutional right as a citizen is actually arguable. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we discuss minimum wage. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, who can make time stand still forever? Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abi?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay,
thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink.
Huh?
No problem.
Okay.
I've always known this as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym is. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. It's out there.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
I just said, look, I give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink!
I'm not done. You did not say final answer.
Final answer.
You did not ask me if that was my final answer.
You don't have any choice again. It's only
Nikon.
How many cameras do they have?
Nikon.
My friend to drink. I gave you a very easy something.
Nikon now.
So you ever wonder behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Barkamu da warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brown, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of Your View are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
The show starts in 3, 2, and...
We're here again on your screens this beautiful morning doing what we do best.
Thanks for staying with us. So, still on this minimum wage saga, the federal government has offered 62,000 naira as the new minimum wage, while Labour is insisting on 250,000. According to them, the recommendations will be forwarded to Mr. President, who is expected to send an executive bill on the National Assembly for legislative action. So, I know there's supposed to be a meeting today. We don't know. I heard that the Labour they're not in town, but after several hours of negotiations on Friday, the federal government and the organized private sector have increased their own to 62,000, up from the previous 60,000 naira offer, while Labour came down to 250,000, decreased from the 494,000. Now we have with us Mr. Malachi Ugumadu, is constitutional lawyer, former president of the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, to hear his thoughts on this issue of minimum wage. Welcome, sir, to the show.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
So a lot has been said about the minimum wage. Everybody has their own side. Labour has their strong point because when they broke down how they arrived at that figure, it made quite a bit of sense. The government is saying we can't afford it. There's nowhere the money is. I don't have the money. Some states are saying I can't even afford that. You know, the 30,000 minimum wage. Some states have not been able to pay till tomorrow. So, and other states, I know Lagos State government is paying differently. So, in your view, what do you make of this entire back and forth, and how do we find a truce or meet a truce?
Well, again, thank you for having me. I think that. For me, what is missing is that consensus, that common ground. It is good that it has been subjected to this forth and back, but the law does not envisage that it should be attended by these debates. Ideally, there ought to be a consensus even before the expiration of the time lag within which a prevailing minimum wage is expected to lapse. That is 5 years, according to the law. But what we have seen over time is that every benefit to the Nigerian people has always been a function of struggles. And it is literally taken for granted that Nigerian people are not entitled to these demands. And therefore, government on its side waits until organized labor in particular begin to agitate. This is a hangover of the experience of the Nigerian worker even before colonial era. Nigeria was colonized. The colonial masters saw the people, the first generation of workers, as mere slaves. This has been documented, who are not entitled to anything. And they got nothing until they agitated. We cannot forget the modus of this world. That was transferred to the mentality that the military also, inherited, up to the point when about 9 states in the northern part of this country indicated that they cannot pay what was then referred to as their own minimum wage. And the law, as we have it today, referencing the Minimum Wage Act, actually makes it an offense for any part of the government, either federal or the federating unit, to, to pull out from the payment of minimum wage. In short, it criminalizes it, to say that upon conviction, if you are unable to pay the prescribed minimum wage, you will be liable to so and so. So, well, I think that what is coming out all of this debate is that we have largely mismanaged ourselves. We have mismanaged our resources, and that we may not be able to continue the way in this trajectory except people really sit down and become as resourceful as they ought to be in meeting the demands of the people.
All right, Maka.
Yes. Okay, no, you can go. I should go. Okay, so for me, what I'm looking at particularly in this whole matter, because I just feel like for government, they can always squeeze out money from anywhere. They can not drive certain SUVs or change their cars or refurbish their offices to be able to pay these monies. I'm more concerned about the private sector, right? We know that Nigeria is made up of a lot of SMEs, small business owners, even individuals, we on the tables, we have drivers, we have helps at home and stuff, right? So how are people supposed to pay these monies? Because when you really look at the business structures of most businesses, they're not really making money. They're not really in business. They're just there, even trying to trying to make ends meet. How are they supposed to meet up with it? Because we need to balance this whole thing.
To lay off staff.
Yeah. So, well, that's a very important question, because whether we like it or not, there's very little you can do about the reality and the state of our economy. In short, from the grapevine, the government is already saying that if you compel us to do this, about 40% of our workforce will have to go.
Simple.
Now, these are functions of negotiations and discussion. But as Nigerians, as the victims of the absence of leadership in this country, what we can quickly put on the table is to say that government can actually prioritize the need of the Nigerian people as against the greed of state actors. And what I mean by that is this. Imagine if, even for the private sector, imagine if the government can make the cost of doing business a lot more easier and cheaper. What are we doing about power, for instance? This is what kills a lot of businesses in this country. What about the interest rates that with which or at which they borrow money, and so if they can find it? What about subsidy? This debate about subsidy, we cannot afford to run away from it, because all over the world, even in civilized nations, what we know that assists the masses is the subsidy of government, whether in education or in agriculture or whatever resources that they have. Now, this idea of taking it out completely and at the same time increasing tariff in electricity and impounding and compounding taxes is such that makes business completely impracticable for even the private sector. And I'm proposing that it is not just sufficient to say, no, private sectors cannot survive. The private sectors cannot survive because of underlying factors. Those factors that have, made business almost impracticable in our society. And I guess that if we remain conscious and sensitive to this, we may be able to meet ourselves at some point.
Okay. I'm constantly faulting NLC and TUC for advancing a cause around minimum wage alone. Just as you mentioned, there are other factors affecting businesses that you'd expect that they will constantly be engaging government on improving. One of them is security, because most businesses now provide their own security. Yeah. And because of that extra cost at downsizing, can NLC just, not make their business around every 5 years minimum wage alone, so that in between those years, NLC is still seen as active, as opposed to just...
When you push that further, NLC will always tell you that, that they are not policy makers. That they are there to ensure the interest of their members. Forgetting that if you're cutting the tree and refuse to watch the direction of the fell, you will be twice as disadvantaged as if you took on the whole thing together. Here is the point. Whether we like it or not, it has come to become a fact in our situation, in our economy, that this government cannot completely ignore the agitation of labor. Labor, on the other hand, will also understand that the same government that have shown this level of insensitivity cannot be completely left alone. Otherwise, you will gradually begin to sound redundant in the ears of the people you are even trying to assist. And I guess that this is already happening. So much trust has been lost. So many people just wait to hear when they are going to call off strikes. And gone are those days when they are able to sustain with equal momentum the agitations that make governments sit up. And I therefore would suggest that the dialogue should be the way to go, but it must be sincere, it must be purposeful, and it must be targeted at a realistic output that will enable it be a win-win situation.
Okay, yes, sir. So, do you blame Labour for insisting that this money must increase? If you follow their arguments, they say that we have our executives, we have our judiciary, we have our legislatures who are earning how many times over what the minimum wage is. And they are currently in this situation. They understand the inflation that is going on, and they're expecting the workers to just go with almost nothing in the face of this. The only reason they're insisting on this is because they also see a lot of wastage that is being done in cost of governance. There's a lot of wastage going on there. Do you think the governors truly cannot pay this minimum wage if they decide to cut down on some of their extra expenses? Let me also tell you, a few days ago, We had data of people who spent, governors who spent money on refreshments running into billions of naira. Why do we still have, in a country as poor as we are right now, forget our resources because it's not paying off, poor as we are, using money, instead of paying out of pockets, they are using taxpayers' money to buy refreshment for people who are visiting them while they are working in office, after collecting their salary and their bonuses.
You have made my answer very simple. And I'd like to start from where where you commenced your comment. I cannot blame Labour. On the contrary, I heap the blame on government. And I had tried to make preliminary remarks here, suggesting that, look, if we prioritize the need of the people and reduce the desire to satisfy the greed of the ruling class, we will get this thing right. Come to think of it, so many states in this country are already paying what was above what was the minimum wage. How are they doing it? I mean, Edo is not I'm from Delta State. Edo is the neighboring country. The neighboring state. It's not very rich in terms of resources. But so much has been reorganized along the line of productivity to be able to show up their revenue with a view to prioritizing the pay of the people. So you go to Nasarawa State, for instance, only recently, the lithium processing plant was commissioned. That was just in May here. And the statistics I was reading out indicated that if they stayed on course on that alone, the state was going to be able to even employ more workers.
So for me, that for me, sir, is the real issue.
Yes.
Because it's one thing for federal government to say something. It's another thing for the state government to actually do it. So for me, the onus really is on the state government.
On the state government.
They need to see how they can show up their IGR to be able to go. Some states, I hear that Lagos is paying as much as 70,000.
Yes.
So it's not even, they're not even in that conversation. So the truth is that each state must be independent in what you're paying. It's based on your capacity. But the worry is,
they will say they don't have capacity.
Many of the state governors are not very creative.
Correct.
In seeing how they can show up their revenue.
Correct. And this is a minimum wage for all the nations.
Yes.
I mean, all the states of the nation. Well, it is not peculiar to Nigeria. It is almost like what we lawyers talk about the Chapter 2 of the Constitution. These are the irreducible fundamental objectives and directive principles of the state. And that if we're able to subscribe to this irreducible minimum, we will have good life. We will have, in any case, our Constitution also envisages, look, the language of the Constitution is not even minimum wage alone. It talks about living wage under Section 16. And if the Constitution, which we all subscribed to, which we all swore to uphold, is already talking of a living wage, how come that in 2024 we are still talking about, we're still debating minimum? Look, let us not be carried away by the way, the Governors Forum is an aberration. They need to also moderate their interventions in some of these things, lest we will question the legitimacy of their utterances. The point is this. It is that we have seen the life of and culture and tendency of profligacy on the part of the ruling class. Right. And once we have known that, it will no longer be our excuse to begin to tolerate all of what we see, considering that if they are able to turn around a bit, turn a new leaf, look more, and it is even in their enlightened self-interest that this is done. How? Issue of insecurity is connected.
Unfortunately, I have to stop you here because we have a very short time today, but it's an ongoing conversation concerning minimum wage. It's not ended because we know Labour is still in talks, and hopefully they're waiting for the president to give his own executive order, but we'll see how that goes. But we'll definitely bring you back, sir, to talk more on this, but we just wanted to touch on it a bit, just to have an idea of your thoughts as far as a lawyer to get a legal perspective on it. But thank you so much for...
My pleasure. Thank you.
Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we bring in our second guest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past few years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered?
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas.
Thanks for staying with us. Before I invite our guest, I got a message from Honorable Prince Bayo Balogun, and he said that concerning our previous topic concerning the ranches, he said that the bill is to force herders to use ranches that should be built only in pastoral areas. The senator only opposed the clause that restricted the ranches to pastoral areas, stating that there should be freedom to do their business anywhere. So just to make that put things in proper perspective. Joining us right now on the show is Honorable Fuad Kayode Laguda, member of the ruling party and the honorable member representing Surulere constituency at the Nigerian House of Representatives. He's also the chairman House Committee on the Federal Polytechnics and Tertiary Education. You're very welcome to our show.
Thank you very much.
This is a short interview because we really want to bring you back at some point to discuss extensively the thinking behind the student loan. But just very quickly, it has been passed into law. For those who don't have a view of what the student loan is about, could you give us in a nutshell what it is and how it will be beneficial to the Nigerian students?
Good morning, everyone. Nice to be here. Nigerian student loan is being managed by Nigeria Nail Fund, headed by Mr. Akitude Sawyer. The fund basically is to support tertiary institution students to aid them through their schooling, pay for their tuition, and also give some sort of maintenance fee monthly to them. To apply right now, it's strictly an online thing. If I'm not wrong, on top of my head is lenf.gov.ng to apply. Everyone that is in university, you can apply it. Check the rules and what is applicable to you on how to apply. It was opened May 24 to all federal tertiary institutions. So I think later this month, students in state tertiary institution can also start applying. So there's I'm aware that the organization in charge of the student loan is drumming up a lot of trying to put out a lot of awareness, publicity to increase people's knowledge about it.
Yeah. So we've heard extensively about this even before it became law. The conversations back and forth, well, it was suspended, some of the reasons they gave because they wanted to expand the scope. A lot of Nigerians were worried that, the first tag that they put, that once you graduate and finish your NYS, you should be repaying back. They had to readjust that to give you about 2 years, before you can pay back to ensure that you have a job in paying back your student loan. But I would like to, in all of that conversation, we did not get to hear the capacity of the student loan per year. So I'd like to know, is there a number? Is there a limit to how many students can apply within a year that has been given so far?
Well, I'm not equipped with that information right now, but I could tell you that as at today, over 80,000 people have applied.
Wow.
From the federal listing. So
and the 80,000 will likely get the loan?
No, of course they will be scrutinized.
Okay.
So, and they're not going to, and it's not just going to take just 80,000 people applying.
Cross-check to be sure
They
that
have to cross-check the information, see if they are qualified to benefit from the funds.
So congratulations on your election, because I remember you are filling in for the former speaker. You took his position after he resigned from the House. Also, you are House Committee Chairman on Federal Polytechnics and Tertiary Education.
Yes.
How does this scope cover your constituents? And are they just, public tertiary institutions, or do they extend to private? And can private university students also apply for the loan?
Well, I think that is still up for debate. The private, but for federal and states, they are qualified. And I think this thing it's a going concern. It's not casted in stone. With time and due course, I'm sure the scope will be expanded and we would have this thing will continue improving.
Okay, so I know that they gave a required time for the students to pay back after they must have gained employment. And we all know what's going on in Nigeria right now. So what happens if after 2 or 3 years, the student who is now a debtor to the government is not able to get a job, cannot be gainfully employed, and then what happens to that loan and in terms of interest on it?
Well, like I said, it's a going concern. These things will it's new. We've not done it before. We've not tested it. We don't know if the people that will get the loans will get a job or not. So I don't think we should start procrastinating what if. Let's get there, we'll cross it. But I could tell you that there's always a plan. That if they get there and there's no employment for them, there has to be a set rules. So if that doesn't happen, of course, then we move to the next thing. At least they are warehoused and their informations are there for us.
So there's always an issue of, many students leaving the country. I mean, I like to believe that, as you said, it's a going concern. All these other clauses will probably be addressed because there's a situation where somebody applies, he gets a loan for the first 2 years, and then third year he relocates abroad, and you can't find him. He's no more in the system now. These are taxpayers' funds that we used to pay his school fees. Unfortunately, he can't pay back, and he doesn't care. He has left the country. Many average Nigerian young people are leaving the country. So, are there ways to ensure that the country doesn't lose? Because this is Nigerians' money that you are paying for these people.
Like I said, your data are collected. And you would definitely have to put some other people's information, like your parents, like your BVN, like all this. So there's always a way that we could always get traced and that listed. But nevertheless, we would always leave it what we call bad loans, So
it should not be bad. At the point of travel, when they check your passports, we will be linking
this information.
That's how to do it.
So these informations will be linked. That's why your NIN is collected. That's why your BVN will be collected. Also, all this information, we're in a stage in the country whereby we are building data. So, with due course and time, that's why we check your national your international passport, you'll see your NIN on it. So with these things,
they clock it in, they'll say, okay, student loan, you never pay finish. They say, you can, brother, you cannot travel.
It has not happened yet. So
I know.
Let's hope that when we get to such situation, we'll be able to trace people and know what's.
What was the? Do you have a question? What was the end game? What's the vision of the president? What does he hope to see at the end? Because we've seen student loan happen in different parts of the world, and we've seen how even people have issues here and there. But what is the president's end game? What is his vision concerning this student loan?
To see that every child has an equal opportunity to go to school and can compete with the privileged.
So you are representing Surulere constituency now in the Federal House of Reps, and some would say the shoes you are filling are very big. What plans do you have for the people of Surulere? Because I'm sure they're watching.
Well, let me start with the shoe aspects. I hear that a lot. Everybody tells me that you are wearing a big shoe, but I am quick to tell everybody, and I'll use this opportunity that I'm on TV again to say that that shoe that belongs to Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila is somewhere in the museum right now, where a lot of us can go and be looking at it and see what was done and everything. But I could say that he has created a path for every other person that will succeed him, starting from me, that we should follow and be able to give good governance to our people of Surulere. So it's to take it from what he has done. But I mean, I cannot jump at it the way, I can't jump at where he stopped right there, because I mean, I'm talking of someone with 20 years experience and 20 years of being there compared to me that I'm just barely 4 months being in the house. But I could tell you that he has created a path, and a path that I intend to walk.
How has it been in the house, you know, from Lagos, coming your first time in the National Assembly? How is it? Tell us what you guys pay you fat salaries. You know, we hear all these 30 million a month. Do
I look like 30 million a month?
You know, that's what we hear on social media that they're paying.
You do. But you need.
As Lagos to Lagos, tell us what's happening. What happens?
It's not that way.
Okay.
It's not that way. You don't. I don't earn 30 million.
Okay.
And I want to.
So what's the juicy part of your job? What's the juicy part of it?
You don't have to answer.
I carry the title Right Honorable.
A lot of us assume it.
I carry the title Right Honorable. But on a more serious note, I wonder where that comes from and where the what's it called? The salary thing that they are throwing around, that they were able to.
Because we don't have data of what you guys actually.
But
and you guys owe us that.
No, but it's simple, right? RAMFAC.
No, it should be published somewhere.
Right. RAMFAC determines every public service.
What kind of official car do you drive?
Put it out there.
Official car do you drive?
They gave you.
I don't have an official car yet.
They thought they give you guys.
He just
They're going to give me, but we don't have it yet.
When you have it, let us know. Let us know the kind of car you got.
Well, maybe when we jam on the street of Lagos.
We'll call you back and say, start you driving.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you. But we wish you all the best in your work as you do. That is all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye.